Good morning, good afternoon. Do you have pants that are really long like this? And do you hate that? Well, I do. And today, we're going to use the sewing machine and fix it. Starting off, you're going to want to grab your chalk and grab a tape measure or just a measuring device in general. And what we're going to want to do is just measure where we want the bottom of our pants to be. So basically, how much you want to cut off, in a sense. So once you get that line, you want to take your chalk and take a flat edge of something. It doesn't have to be a ruler, but it just needs to be flat, and just trace it. Do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that you can get them as even as possible, because that will just help it be, that much better. And you don't want your pants to be uneven. If your pant legs are uneven, then it just looks super wonky and it looks super weird. So just try your best. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just try your best to make them pretty even, Then, do the same thing, trace it over, and you want to have that line as straight as possible. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to fold the bottom of our pants to just above that line. So you want the bottom hem to be just above that line on both sides. Make sure they're even, and then we want to pin it. The pinning process, you could use as much pins as you feel necessary. I did about 4 on each side, but you just want to stick it through so that the fabric stays. Next, we want to sew just right next to that hem. So we want to sew on that edge and just sew all the way around. Make sure your sewing is even, and take breaks and stop if you need to. But yeah, just make sure it's all even and do it along that end. Next, what we want to do, take some fabric scissors and cut off the excess fabric that we do not need, because really now it's just going to get in the way, especially after you sewed it all. Make sure to do an even cut and make sure that you leave some seam allowance, because we'll need it for later. Next, just iron down that seam, fold it back over and iron it down, because you just want it to look flat and you want it to look presentable, you don't want it to be all wonky. And so yeah, next what we're going to do is just sew right above that line that we just sewed. We are going to sew again so that it stays down. And here I'm just cutting off the extra strings that came off from the sewing and just making sure everything's neat. And this next step is optional, but you can iron it again. That's what I personally did, just so that I made sure everything was super flat and super straight. And this time I went and I ironed both sides of the pant leg, just so that, they're evenly straight. And boom, this is how they turned out. I think they turned out super good. I really love these. It works perfect and it's super simple. It takes probably 30 minutes to 40 minutes of your time, depending on how good you sew. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this tutorial was good, but y'all let me know in the comments. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.